Hey guys, Jonty Hikmet here, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to speak about the importance of embracing uncertainty in the pain relief process. And I'll go through the reasons why. So, if you know anything about how chronic pain gets developed, either from my videos or from any books or other videos, you'll know that people that develop chronic pain have very controlling personality traits. Perfectionism, high achiever, people pleasers, planners, overly responsible, these types of personality traits. People that like to be in control in some way. Controlling how people perceive them to be liked, controlling always being the best, controlling always being perfect. And the reason the nervous system creates pain in the body for people like that is the nervous system doesn't like to be controlled. It likes energy in the form of emotion to just flow freely. If there's anger, the nervous system wants the anger to just be here. Same with sadness, same with fear. The nervous system operates or regulates when we just allow the energy, particularly of emotion, to just be here. Not only emotionally speaking does the nervous system want things to be allowed, but also in terms of physical health. You know, if we don't sleep and eat and move properly, that can also dysregulate the nervous system. And often people that are quite controlling will do that. If they're a high achiever, they'll stay up all night working, and that can dysregulate the nervous system. If they are a people pleaser, they'll struggle to say no to people, so they'll go out their way to make sure everyone's always happy, maybe at detriment to their physical health. Maybe their body's telling them, no, we don't feel good, don't go out right now. So there could be that as well. In a spiritual sense, people that are high achievers or perfectionists or people pleasers, again, they're not having fun, or they're foregoing intimacy to work. You know, there's so many different attributes as to why having a controlling personality trait can dysregulate the nervous system. It's not only about the fact that they're bearing emotions, it could also be not having fun, working too much, overly obsessed with exercise. So there could be lots of reasons, really. So in the pain relief process, at some point, you realize that you have to learn how to embrace being out of control. You have to learn how to embrace being uncertain. And what does that look like in practice? Many people, when they start this process, particularly coming in with these perfectionistic traits, they'll want to be getting everything correct. They'll want to know the perfect way to meditate and the exact time of day they need to do it and for how long for. And these perfectionistic parts of them will think that unless they get it perfectly correct, they're not actually going to get better. In actuality, the pain relief process is messy, and it's meant to be. It's meant to be chaotic. You're meant to teach the parts of you that crave certainty and control that it's okay to be out of control. What does this look like? It looks like in a meditation, learning to embrace emotions that are going to feel like they're taking over. They're going to feel like they're overwhelming you. And when we welcome the emotions, they're going to get bigger. We're not going to have control over them. We're not going to be able to just click our fingers and relax. It's going to go in directions that the parts of us that like to be certain are not going to like. And rather than that being, it's going to feel like, to parts of us, we're going in the wrong direction. The parts of us that like control and certainty are going to feel out of control, going to feel like they're doing it wrong, going to feel like there's lots of doubts. It's going to feel like we're having some good days and bad days, and that doesn't feel good at all. When there are the bad days, when pain maybe flares up, it's going to feel like, oh, we're back to square one again. All the progress we've made is irrelevant. But no, this is what the process is meant to look like. It's meant to, you're learning in this process to be okay with the fact that things are not going to be in control. And you may be watching this thinking, well, if things are out of control, then how is that actually getting better? How am I healing if things are all over the place? But what you come to learn, embrace with really sitting with uncertainty is uncertainty going forward no longer feels so burdensome. To give you an example, I'm someone that had chronic pain. My biggest pain that I had was stomach pain. And the certainty that I craved is I needed people to like me, so I was a people pleaser. I was a perfectionist. I always needed to know exactly what I was going to eat when I went out, so I'd always look at the menus and stuff like that. Because I was a people pleaser, I had to make sure that I was a chameleon for everyone around me. I had to make sure that, okay, this person, let's say I was in a social situation, this person needs me to be a bit quieter. This person needs me to be a bit more vibrant. This person needs me to be a bit more interested. This person needs me to act confident. This person needs me to kind of just be maybe a dumbed down version of myself. I don't know, whatever it was. And what that meant is I was controlling my emotions constantly just to make sure that everyone liked me. I was making sure, okay, I can't have fear in this situation. I can't express the fact that I don't really like this person. I've got to make sure that I'm the best version of myself for everyone around me, or at least the best version of who they need me to be for everyone around me. Certainty, 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 control, control, control. Needing to make sure there was the perfect food for me every time I left the house. Needing to make sure that I got to bed on time, 10:30, because I'd got into my head that I needed to get to bed before 11 o'clock, otherwise my nervous system would be dysregulated. And I was doing all these things, but still I had stomach pain. I was doing all these things that I thought I was being like such a nice, cool guy for everyone around me. I was always making sure I was eating healthy. I was trying to go to bed on time. I was obsessed with doing different exercises like yoga. I still had stomach pain. I still would get flare-ups. And it was because I was overly controlling my experience. When I actually went through the process of embracing being out of control, it was really scary at first. It was scary to go, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave the house. I'm not going to look at the menus of things. I'm just going to trust the fact that I'm going to be out and it's going to be okay. You know what? It's okay that everyone doesn't like me. I'm just going to kind of align with people that I align with. And if I don't, then that's okay as well. You know, it's okay not to. Sometimes I'm not going to go to bed before 11 o'clock. Sometimes I'm going to go to bed a bit later, and maybe I'm going to be a bit more tired the next day, you know, but I'm going to be okay with being out of control a bit. And at first, this was really uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable not really surrendering to just kind of whatever the next moment brings, the next moment brings. That was very uncomfortable for me for a while. And you watching this as someone, I'm sure, struggling with chronic symptoms, the idea of embracing being with uncertainty in any way may feel a bit daunting. But that is the process. How it looked in meditation for me, and you know, I've shared on previous videos and a bit in this video as well, is you'll sit and you'll meditate and you'll notice you'll constantly have parts of you trying to relax yourself. And that's another crave for certainty, a crave for control. When I sit and close my eyes, the only experience I want to have is a relaxing experience. If I have anything other than that, then I'm not going to like it. It's going to be too difficult. But in the pain relief process, you notice that part's arising, the part that's craving relaxation and comfort, and you let that part know you get why it's here, but actually let's sit with the discomfort. Let's sit with the restlessness. Let's sit with surrendering to the uncertainty of the next moment. Let's be with this restlessness, this fear in the body, and just see what happens next without trying to hope for the fact that it leads to a relaxation moment in the next moment. Let's see, maybe the fear is going to get bigger. Maybe it's going to go in a direction that's more uncomfortable, but let's see what happens if we embrace that. Usually when we welcome emotions for the first time in something like meditation or journaling, it usually does get bigger at first. It gets more uncomfortable. It does feel like you're doing it wrong, but it's meant to go that way. You're in this process to learn how to let go of control, how to let go of certainty, how to be okay with the fact that you may welcome an emotion, it may get bigger. You may go out and about and people may not like you. You may not always be the best in things. You may not get things perfect. It may be that you feel like you're making mistakes. You know, I get a lot of people coming to me who are parents. It may be that sometimes you're not going to feel like a good parent. You're going to feel like you did something wrong. It's going to scare you, and then you're going to embrace that fear, and the fear is going to feel really big. If you're watching this, you're in the pain relief process, and it feels like you don't know that you're doing it correctly or not, you're exactly where you need to be. It's perfect. If that feels scary to you, embrace the fear. Learn how to be with the fear. Learn how to sit with it. The fear may get bigger. difficult thing to try and teach anyone, because not only in the pain relief process is it hard to learn to embrace uncertainty, but in life as well. I mean, we really have been taught to be certain about, like, we have a 3-year plan and a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, and we need to always know what we're doing in our careers and with our relationships and what have you. So not only is it difficult for people that develop chronic pain because of their personality traits, but just in general, we've all been nurtured to believe that certainty is a virtue. You need to be certain of yourself. You need to be confident. Any idea that anything could be out of control or chaotic, that, we don't celebrate those people. Although, I mean, I often tell a story of quite a pivotal moment for me in my pain relief journey. It was just as I was learning about this pain relief process over a decade ago. I happened to be living with someone who was the opposite of needing control and certainty. He just lived his life in flow. He didn't mind if it was 3 a.m. and he was eating ice cream and he was smoking cigarettes and, watching sports or whatever it is. He did not care. This guy did not care. And on the one hand, you can say, okay, maybe he should change certain things. I don't know what he's doing now with his life. I'm not in touch with him anymore. You may say that, okay, certain attributes of being up at 3 a.m. and smoking and eating ice cream maybe isn't healthy. But he seemed to be the most happy person I knew. He really was. He was happy-go-lucky. He went with the flow. When he was hungry, he ate. When he wasn't hungry, he didn't. When he was tired, he slept. There wasn't this regimented, I need to sleep at this time and eat this sort of food and be with these sorts of people. He didn't care if people didn't like him. He was just the happiest, go with the flow sort of guy. So it was the opposite of certainty. It was the opposite of control. You may watch that and go, maybe see this sort of person, go, okay, maybe he needs to reel it in a bit, not be so hedonistic all the time. But on the other hand, I'd watch him there, like, doing whatever he was doing, and I was making sure I had the perfect, food, and I was eating at the certain time, and I was freaking out. I had pain. He didn't have pain. He was just living his life, going with the flow. So for me to get to where I was, to get closer to him, going with the flow, it took a lot, of fear. It took a lot of courage, because these parts of me had learned that, no, certainty and control was the only way to live. So to get to me, I didn't go, to him, I didn't go to smoking and eating ice cream at 3 a.m. But I'm not against doing that now. I'm not against, the day after that, maybe having a bit of a stomachache, because you shouldn't maybe eat ice cream at 3 a.m. But it's funny, like, now that I live my life more in the flow, if I do smoke cigarettes and eat ice cream at 3 a.m, again, not that I do, I think, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay if it gives me, a dodgy stomach, or it doesn't. I trust that things are kind of moving forward for me. To get to that place, I had to learn how to embrace uncertainty in my meditation, in my journaling, in life. If you're watching this and you feel like you're doing things wrong, you're in the pain relief process, the point of this process is to learn how to embrace uncertainty in lots of different ways. Was there anything else I needed to say? Let me just very unprofessionally look at my laptop just to see. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Discomfort isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. It's supposed to feel wobbly, uncertain, even like you're getting it wrong. You're rewiring years of survival patterns. You're rewiring. We develop perfectionistic people-pleaser traits from societal and familial upbringings. We learn that we need to be in control, usually maybe because there's a parent that was out of control. So, to get love and affection from them, we learn we need to be in control just to make sure we're on an even keel, just so that they love us. It's something that could be happening. Anything else? Yeah, people, like I said earlier, they believe that this process needs to be perfect in order for things to work. In actuality, it's not going to be perfect, and that's exactly what you need to learn to embrace. Anything else? Yeah, the work is about being with the chaos. Yeah, so one more final thing I want to say about this part of you that craves certainty. It's going to be afraid a lot of the time. It's going to be afraid that you're doing things wrong. It's going to be afraid that you're embracing emotions in bigger ways that are going to feel very uncomfortable. And I'm on the one hand, I'm telling you to, like, you're going to grow past this in this process. But on the other hand, this part's going to, when this part is afraid and you do notice this part coming in, wanting to be certain, it is also about learning to let this part of, you get why it's here. You get why it's afraid. I don't want you to watch this and think that you've got to push this part away and go, okay, from now on, we're just going to go with the flow. And Jonty says I need to eat ice cream and smoke cigarettes at 3 a.m. to heal my chronic pain. So go away, part that needs certainty. I'm not saying that. The part that needs certainty most likely is a learnt part of you, a part that was most likely born out of, again, some nurturing from an early age. And it's a young part of you that thinks it's protecting you, and it deserves validation and your attention. It deserves to be let known by you that you get why it's here. You understand why it's afraid. Let it really feel its fear in the body, To this day, that part of me is still alive. It's still there, kind of going, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to just dive in and surrender to this? I've been speaking about in my community recently, if you're watching this in my community, about feeling the emotions of loneliness and embracing that. And it doesn't matter how long I've done this work for, there'll always be a new emotion or some sort of new state of being that will be difficult, So moving into that and letting myself feel that loneliness, naturally, there's parts of me that are afraid of that. There's parts of me that want to control that and go, no, we don't want to feel the loneliness. Let's distract ourselves. Let's do things to not feel lonely. Let's hang out with people. Let's watch more Netflix, whatever it is. And rather than telling that part, go away, fearful part, we need to be with the loneliness, because only when I'm with the loneliness will the nervous system regulate and I won't have any, mind or body disharmony. I let that fear know. I go, I get why you're here. I understand why you're afraid. Be afraid. It's okay. It's okay to be afraid in this. It's okay that you need certainty and you're not so sure about the loneliness just yet. So if you're watching this and there's parts of you that are craving the certainty and are afraid to move into spaces of feeling like you're doing it wrong or feeling like there's uncertainty, let these parts know you understand that they're afraid. The more you can let them know you understand why they're afraid, the more you'll notice a spaciousness start to form, which then gives you basically the invitation to be with uncertainty, to be with embracing an emotion you usually wouldn't embrace. Only when you can let certain parts that want to be in control know it's okay that they're afraid, will they start to rise and fall and give you the space to be with the parts that they were trying to protect you from, to be with the parts that they were trying to control you from feeling, any fear or anger, or going out and leaving the house and people not liking you or not knowing what's on the menu, my examples. That's it for the video. If you're watching this, you feel uncertain, you feel like you're doing it wrong, it's meant to be chaotic, all those emotions coming out of that, whether it's fear, anger, or sadness, embrace that. If you feel afraid at the fact that you're not quite sure how to do this, be with the fear that you're not actually in a wrong place. If you feel like you're doing it wrong, that's exactly perfectly where you need to be. Notice how you feel towards feeling like you're doing it wrong, and then be with that emotion and just notice where it goes. It's not going to be in control. You're going to notice fear arising, and you're going to notice it getting bigger. Then you're going to notice a sensation move in the body. Uncertainty, letting things go in every direction is what you're meant to learn. Eventually, you learn to do it. It becomes more comfortable being in uncertainty, and maybe you can be like this old flatmate of mine who can smoke cigarettes and eat ice cream at 3 a.m. Maybe one day. That's it for the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you're watching in my community, then obviously you can leave any comments or questions in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hopefully speak to you soon.